Objection, Your Honor. Cause for speculation, lack of foundation.
All right, as a foundation, if you want to lay a foundation.
What, if any, changes in their relationship did you observe?
That when Johnny was using, there would be a fight. I saw it firsthand.
Objection, Your Honor. Same objection.
Overruled, that's fine.
Thank you. Please
Okay,
continue.
all right, let's hear it.
If he was using or if he was drinking,
Yeah.
there was almost always a fight. There was always an argument. There was always a period where they weren't getting along, and it seemed to
Right.
oscillate pretty quickly. He would be sober for a little bit and then almost just as quickly fall off the wagon and start to use or drink, and there would be some big blowout, and it seemed to go back and forth pretty frequently. There was never an extended period of time where it was one or the
Camille,
other.
they put her in jail.
What, if any, changes did you observe in Amber over the period of her relationship with Johnny?
At first, Amber was Amber. She was loud, fun,
No, from
funny.
Murder Against
She
Amber
laughed
Heard a
a
couple
lot.
days ago.
She was just happy, bright, fun-loving thing, always surrounded by friends. And then it was a progression that took over such a long period of time, and it was so slow.
Okay.
In hindsight, it was like watching a slow-motion gunshot. She suddenly stopped sleeping as much. She wasn't as funny. She wasn't as loud. She wasn't as gregarious as she used to be.
Okay.
Cut to the end of their relationship, she was so physically unwell. She maybe weighed 100 pounds soaking wet. She was emaciated. She wasn't sleeping. She had developed a heart condition, and her eyes were sunken in. She just looked
Objection,
like
Your
two
Honor.
different.
Lack of foundation calls for hearsay.
Okay.
She's giving her observations.
Well, heart condition, I'll sustain as to heart
Okay,
condition. Thank you.
other than the heart condition, please continue.
She just, if you were to do a photograph side by side, you would see two very different people.
Uh-huh.
And people that knew her throughout the entirety of their relationship saw the same thing.
What, if any, observations did you make about Mr. Depp exhibiting controlling behavior over the course of their relationship relating to Amber's clothing?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
What, if any, observations did she
Sustain
make
the
about?
Okay.
Sustain the objection.
What, if any, observations did you make about Mr. Depp's treatment of Amber relating to clothing?
At first, it would be like light jokes, or, she left the house wearing something like, oh, you're going to wear that, or just some joke. It was very
and she
subtle,
said that. I think she's about
And
to.
then over time, again, just like the progression of their relationship, it just intensified. Then suddenly it's, they have the same stylist. He and I forgot her name, but suddenly they have the same stylist, and he had been essentially controlling what she wore to events and things like that. So she went from being able to wear whatever the hell she wanted, and then suddenly she's wearing anything that his stylist wanted her to wear, or wanted him to wear. And her style over time just got more and more conservative.
What, if any, observations did you make about Mr. Depp with respect to Amber's work?
That too was one thing. At first, he was saying he was protective over the kinds of jobs she was taking. Oh, that's not going to be good for her career. That's not going to be good for this. Not going to be good for that. And then suddenly he has a problem with her taking any sort of job or any sort of audition. And then it became every time that she even thought about taking a meeting, it was another fight. He would often say things like, I don't even understand why she needs to work. I'll take care of her. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of everyone else. She doesn't need to work at all. It was one of those things that he was, at the end, vehemently against her working at all.
What, if any, observations did you make about Mr. Depp's treatment of Amber with respect to friends?
Again, these are all things that just very slowly over time just changed. At first, he was very inclusive of all of us. At one point, we all lived downtown together in these beautiful lofts. At first that was part of the relationship, was getting to know him and him getting to know us. And then just, again, slowly over time, he took issue with Brandon at one point, and then Brandon wasn't allowed in the fold. Time went on, he had an issue with Io. Io wasn't allowed in the fold anymore. And then at some point, even me, he had accused me of doing something horrendous that I had never done. And then suddenly, I'm not allowed around anymore. And just over time, she had such a small network of people that were there to support her. It was hard to watch.
What, if any, observations did you make about Mr. Depp's attitude or treatment of Amber with respect to health, her health?
Amber was she was a pretty healthy person at first. She didn't have any medical issues that, didn't need intervention of any sort. But in one of Johnny's attempts to get sober, he had employed Dr. Kipper, who had these nurses, and he had a personal nurse that would administer medication, and I think the intention was to make sure that he stayed clean and
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation.
Without discussing what the
Abstain the objection.
intentions were, just go ahead and give us what your observations were with respect to Mr. Depp, with respect to Amber's health.
Sure. All of a sudden, for really unclear reasons, Amber had her own personal nurse just administering medication, and from what I saw, it was strange. I didn't think Amber needed, medication on the daily or whatever. And then all of a sudden, she has a therapist that is employed by Dr. Kipper. Even her medical treatment was somehow controlled by or paid for by Johnny.
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation with respect to the control.
Was to control, but paid for. I'll allow. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. What, if anything, did Mr. Depp say about Amber's electronic devices?
Well, every time they fought or had an argument, a device was going to get smashed. And she lost a phone, a tablet, a computer. You could almost guarantee that something would get destroyed when they fought. Very often, fights were at least in part surrounded by text messages or something that he would find on her phones or whatever. And at some point, she wasn't even allowed to have passwords on her phone, or if she did have a password, it was something really simple that he memorized. But there was zero expectation of privacy for her in terms of what was on her device or accessibility of her devices.
How many times did you observe Mr. Depp drunk?
Countless. Too many times for me to quantify.
How many times did you observe Mr. Depp high on drugs?
Again, it would be really hard to put a number to that. It was a lot.
And what types of drugs did Mr. Depp use, to your knowledge and your observation?
Well, I've done cocaine and drank with him on a number of occasions, so that. He almost always had weed of some sort, marijuana, joints or whatever. I have seen him take MDMA on an occasion, shrooms as well. I once saw him consume a Ziploc bag that had a bunch of just unknown pills, some prescription, some not. He just took them all at once to see what would happen, and he laughed about it. Those are what I can recall.
Okay. Now, you said that you also did cocaine with Mr. Depp, is that correct?
Yes.
What, if any, observations did you make as to what Mr. Depp carried in his pockets?
Well, he always had cigarettes or rolling papers. When I say cigarettes, I mean the tobacco and rolling papers. He always had a joint on him. If he was in a phase of using coke, he would carry around a little pill box that had his cocaine in it. He always had a pocket knife, a lighter, and it's about what I can recall.
Okay. What, if any, behavior changes did you observe when Mr. Depp had been drinking alcohol or using drugs?
Like I said, it was, a completely different version. He was almost unrecognizable when he was drinking and using to an excess. If it was alcohol and coke, he he would slur, he would go on these paranoid, delusional rants about things that didn't make any sense. He, his speech would be slurred. I almost never knew him to use cocaine without drinking. Those were generally combined. When he would smoke weed, he was much more relaxed. He was kind of what you would expect, happy on a couch, laughing. But when he was drinking, he would just get very angry, and he would just say really nasty, unkind things, and it almost didn't, usually about Amber, sometimes about me, but it almost didn't matter if she was in the room or not. He would just say really horrible, horrible, horrible things about her or to her.
Can you give the jury a few examples that you can recall?
Pardon my language, fucking cunt. He called her a fucking used up trash bag, slimy whore, saggy whore. Fucking cunt was thrown out a bunch. Just horrible things like that.
I'm going to take you to March 21st, 2013. We've called it the painting or Keith Richards incident. When did you arrive at the Orange apartment on March 21st, 2013?
It was sometime in the afternoon. I came in, and Orange was typically a very neat, clean place, but as soon as I walked in, there was smoke in the air. Remember, it smelled like cigarette smoke, and there was smoke in the air. So somebody had been smoking inside, which was odd because Amber and I don't smoke, and Johnny used to always just go outside to smoke. But walking a little bit further in, there was like furniture askew. Going into the kitchen, there was, Johnny was sat at our little breakfast nook table that we had there, and he was wearing glasses. He had, there was cocaine in front of him. There was booze in front of him, journal, like no newspaper, things like that, just kind of scattered around at the table. And I sat down to talk to him to see what was going on. And it was really hard to understand what he was getting at. It was really clear that he had been drinking for some time. His speech was slurred. And again, it was really hard to follow what he was trying to tell me. At first, he seemed to be upset that my sister had been photographed with our friend Marie in France. He then started saying that it must have meant that she was having an affair with her, and everyone would be laughing at her. And this woman, her father was a French politician, so he then starts rambling on about, he knows what her father's up to, and her this, that, and the other. And again, it was just this strange paranoid tailspin is the only way I can describe it. It wasn't true. My sister wasn't having an affair with this person.
Objection, Your Honor. I think it's pretty non-responsive at this point.
All right, next question. Sustain the objection.
Please describe what your conversations were and your observations were with Mr. Depp.
So as I'm sitting there talking to him, Amber is in the kitchen, and she's not sat at the table or anything. She's kind of hanging back, and Johnny's still talking to me about what the problem was. And then all of a sudden the focus shifts to this painting that has been on the wall ever since Amber and I moved in. And the painting was done by one of my sister's exes. So he was convinced that it was on the wall to taunt him, to tease him, and how disrespectful that he had to wake up next to this painting. And it surely meant that Amber and Tasha were back together again, which of course was not true. But he was then upset about that. He was upset about this painting that was on the wall.
Wash hands? Actually, I did.
I was trying to talk to him, not only to just try to figure out what was going on, but I was trying to get him out of the house because he was already very late for filming this documentary that was being shot at one of his houses.
Was that with Keith Richards?
Correct.
Okay.
That was my understanding of it.
Please continue.
So for hours we sat there. I was trying to, talk to him, make him feel like everything was okay, just try to get him out of the house. His assistant kept coming in and out at one point.
Okay.
And all the while, Amber is just in the kitchen. She's like giving us space, but she's in earshot, and he's saying these things about her. And at one point, she tries to come over to like check on him, and she kind of embraces him from behind, and he's just like, fuck off, and, continues to say these things about her.
He's mad.
And again, we sat there forever, and eventually we did get him to leave the house. So, but he insisted that Amber come too, and that if they were going to work it out, she'd have to be there, and they would talk about it at some other point, I guess.
Let me just stop you for a minute. What, if any, injuries did you observe on Amber at that time?
At the time, it was before I had a real understanding of what was going on. It was pretty, I didn't know, frankly. And her face was swollen, but I didn't, and it was kind of red. I thought she had just been crying. And her lip did appear to be cut, but again, that at the time, that wasn't what we were trying to do. It wouldn't have been appropriate to, talk to her about it or anything. That wasn't my focus, frankly. My focus was just sitting there trying to figure out what he was upset about and get him out of the house.
So how long were you at Orange with Mr. Depp and Amber before he left to go to the Keith Richards?
A few hours. I couldn't say, maybe around like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
It took a minute.
Now, did you accompany Mr. Depp over to the recording, or did you stay?
I did.
And did Amber go too?
Correct. That was part of the condition of him leaving, is that Amber had to go with us.
All right. Well, please describe to the jury what happened next then on your ride over there.
So Amber and Johnny were sitting in the back. I was in the front with Sterling, the driver.
Right.
And they weren't saying much back there. There was music playing pretty loudly, so I couldn't really hear what was going on back there. But at some point I heard the back door open, or the back window open, and Johnny is holding our dog out the window. And I froze. I was scared because I just remember thinking, I knew how inebriated he was, and and the dog was very small. I thought if she twitched or, if he lost her somehow, she was just going to go out the window. And Amber, of course, was just saying,
Objection, Your Honor.
Not often to prove the truth of the matter asserted, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Don't say what Amber said. Just go ahead and continue
Objection.
with your observations.
All right.
He brought the dog back into the car.
Yeah.
And he was just laughing, this really scary, loud, like it was almost like a cackle.
Don't we have a picture of Amber holding the dog out the window?
He then made some joke about putting her in the microwave.
Yeah.
And that was the joke after that, was putting the dog in the microwave.
So during the year 2013,
there it is.
What, if any, marks did you observe on Amber? Any injuries or signs of markings, anything like that?
Occasionally I'd see
It's a hot
bruising,
dog.
cut lips, split lips, weird marks, burns, or I don't know, on her arm, scratches on her arm, things like that. It was just weird, and it was periodic. It wasn't like a constant thing, but there were injuries to her.
And what, if anything, did you do? Did you ask her about them?
I did at some point confront her and ask her, and she...
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Don't tell
Sustain
us.
the objection.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay. But you did ask her about them.
Okay.
Yes.
Objection,
Okay.
Your Honor. Same objection.
He said bullshit. Yeah.
That's fine.
That's okay. Thank you, Your Honor. All right. I'm going to take you to June 2013, Hicksville. Were you in attendance at that event with Mr. Depp and Amber?
Yes.
Please describe for the jury what you can recall from that event.
So Hicksville is like this, it's this like collection of themed Airstreams. It's like a little, it's in the middle of the desert. It's just like a fun little place to go. So we went with a group of our friends.
Okay. Hicksville.
And yeah,
This
so
is
each one of
Amber's
us had
sister.
our own little Airstream or whatever. So my partner and I at the time, we got there last. So as we're going around checking out the different Airstreams, because again, each one of them had a different theme, so it was kind of fun to see, who was staying in which theme or whatever.
That's cool.
I open Amber and Johnny's, and there's cocaine on the table. And I didn't really think much of it at the time.
I
was just
could
like,
have
all right,
never guessed
fine.
this.
We're all here to have fun. And
How
that
could
night,
this have ever
we sat
happened?
around the campfire. Everyone was drinking. Some people were taking shrooms.
Yeah.
And then
That's what you
I
do
drank
there.
too much, and I went to bed early before everyone else. And then the next day, when everyone was cleaning up, I had heard about something that had happened the night before, and an altercation that
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Don't tell us what you heard. Go ahead and just tell the jury what you observed.
I observed people cleaning up after what appeared to be just a night of friends hanging out.
Okay.
I then went to my sister's trailer, where she was staying with Johnny, and it looked like a bomb went off in there. There
God
was
damn.
broken things. Things had been skewed. It just looked incredibly messy. It looked like somebody had ransacked it. That's what I observed.
Okay. Now I'm going to take you to September 2013. What, if anything, did you do with Mr. Depp relating to
That's right.
going to London?
That's right.
So
He's on the
September
loose.
2013, that was around the time of my birthday. Amber was filming in London, and she wasn't able to make it back for my birthday. And it was also a friend of ours, Io, also has a birthday the same time, or around the same time as me. And Johnny thought it would be great to load up and surprise Amber on set. He thought she would really enjoy it, and so that's what we did. We loaded up, we went on a plane that he chartered, and I believe my father was with us as well. And yeah, Johnny and I drank and did a lot of cocaine on that plane, and I ended up passing out. But we get to London, and it was wonderful to see Amber, and we had a dinner that night at the hotel that we were staying at, or
With
it
Dad?
was either that night or the next night. I can't remember exactly, but at one point,
It is what it is.
Johnny picked up a steak knife and he hurled it at his assistant. It missed him, but obviously Nathan got upset and he left, and he was upset as well. And a fight broke out between Amber and Johnny that night. I didn't witness it. I wasn't there. I knew that they
Objection,
were.
Your Honor, lack of foundation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Okay,
Next question.
So
She's passed
you
out
can't tell
80%
us
of her
about it if
stories?
you weren't there.
Yeah, but she
So
knows
what
what happened.
next that you were aware of?
I left sometime after that, and when I touched down in Los Angeles, I learned that they had
Objection, Your Honor.
Not after to prove the truth. of the
I'll
matter,
sustain the
Your Honor.
objection. Next question.
When did they get engaged?
They got engaged at some point when I was on the plane.
Okay.
I left London. By the time I landed in London, they were engaged.
Great.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to jump all the way to November 2014, the 2014 Hollywood Film Awards.
All right.
What, if
Let's
any,
do it.
involvement did you have with Mr. Depp relating to the Hollywood Film Awards?
I was called over to where he was getting ready, 80.
Okay.
And when you say 80, are we talking about Sweetser?
Yes, that's one of the houses that is on that street that Johnny had. He had several houses on that street. 80 was the one that he referred to as like the man cave. That's where he spent a lot of time. So I was summoned to 80, again, following a fight that he and my sister were having. And
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation.
I
Just go on, just don't talk about what you weren't
Summoned,
party
that's
to.
right.
You got
Okay.
there, please tell the jury.
You don't understand this.
Please tell the jury
Johnny's
what you
also
observed, what
a
happened while you
warlock.
were there.
Sure. When I got there, Johnny was
That's right.
was outside, and he was very drunk already, and he was continuing to drink. He was again rambling about my sister having affairs with people that it just wasn't true, and
James
just
Franco.
kept saying things. It was that she doesn't
Yes.
need to work, and he doesn't understand why she continues to take jobs. She must be doing it to insult him or to hurt him, or she's only taking these jobs because she wants to meet people. I don't know. the entire time that we were talking, his sister and his, assistants at one point, everyone was trying to get him out of the house because he was already very late for this.
Absolutely.
But eventually they did get him to leave the house.
Yes.
And yeah, I saw the award show later at some point.
And what did you observe when you watched the award show?
Unfortunately, an extension of what I had seen at the house. He was still very drunk, actually a little bit more drunk than when I saw him at the house.
And what was he doing that caused you to believe he was very drunk?
Well, he was drinking the entire time that we were talking. And, in general, at this point, I had understood what Johnny looks like when he's drunk. He's stammering. His speech was hard to understand. He was slurring. He was super unsteady on his feet.
Jack Sparrow.
I recognize what he looks like when he's drunk.
Okay. Now I'm going to take you to March 23rd, 2015.
I mean,
And at this time, were you living at the penthouse suites?
I was.
Okay.
Excuse me. Sorry.
When approximately did you move into the penthouse suites?
I've had enough people, these rich people in their Fiji water,
I
man.
want to. I actually don't
ridiculous.
know for sure when I moved in. I would take me a minute to remember. It was sometime in 2000. I don't know, 14, I think.
Okay. And so as of March 23rd, 2015, you're living there, correct?
Yes.
And where are you living in those penthouse suites? What is it called?
So I was in what they call PH4. The layout is, the entire top floor of this building. Johnny owns the mall, and he was kind enough to let us all live there. So I was in PH4. Amber and Johnny were in PH3.
Okay.
I believe Isaac was in 2, and Rocky and Josh were in 1. But the only ones that actually connected were
So they're all
3,
part of
4,
Johnny's
and 5.
kingdom.
So again, I was kind of
Oh my
sandwiched
God.
between where Johnny and Amber stayed and Amber's basically closet. So basically you had to cut through to get to one point to the other.
It's just funny.
So I was sleeping. I woke up to Amber in my bedroom saying, "Can you believe he's cheating on me?"
Objection, Your Honor.
You're not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted. Thank you.
Overruled. Go
Thank you. Please continue.
She said something. She
She said overruled. It's okay for you to say what. Just
sorry.
Just briefly what you just explained.
I woke up to her saying, "Can you believe he's cheating on me? Your fucking brother's cheating on me." I got up. I told her to stay right there.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
It's not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted.
Your fucking
Ruled for
brother?
that
Wait,
statement. Go ahead.
Please continue.
I instructed her to stay in my apartment while I go and talk to Johnny.
that's not how it is here in Texas, guys.
So
Stop.
I leave PH4. I leave her in PH4.
And let me just stop. Are you sober, drunk? Have you been drinking?
Oh, rare occasions where I was sober. It was in the middle of the night. I was asleep.
So I'm sorry, I'm not sure that I understood your question. So you were sober?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Please
Okay.
continue.
So I go to PH5 where
Great.
Johnny,
Keep this in mind as she
Debbie,
explains
and
everything that
Travis
happened.
were all standing in the kitchen of PH5. I went down there to talk to him, and again, I can tell he's clearly drunk, and he has a bottle of alcohol of some sort in front of him as well.
Yeah.
And again, he's talking to me about how Amber found these text messages between him and a woman called Rochelle, and then he starts saying that this woman was meaningless. It wasn't anything special. She's nothing special. But then he immediately shifted to, well, Amber pushed me. Amber made me do it. Of course, I'm cheating on her. Whatever. And it suddenly became about Amber making him do it. At some point, then Amber is on the mezzanine level of PH5. So it's kind of hard to explain. So the kitchen's down here and the mezzanine's up here. So she's there. It's her little office nook, and she starts shouting at him, saying,
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
It's not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted, Your Honor. She's screaming expletives at him. I mean, that's not offered to prove the truth.
Overruled.
Thank you. Please continue.
They're saying horrible things to one another. Fuck you. He's calling her a fucking whore, fucking cunt. Used up trash bag, whatever. They were saying horrible things to one another. She was
Yeah.
calling him old and fat. It was a fight. They were saying really nasty things to one another.
Jesus.
I leave them in the kitchen to go up the stairs. Was trying to calm Amber down, hopefully get her back into my apartment. And Debbie had come up with me.
And Debbie, who's Debbie?
Debbie was his nurse at the
Debbie
time.
Lloyd?
Yes, I believe that was her name.
Okay.
So we're with Amber on the mezzanine level.
I'm sorry, just so we know who where is. Is it you and Debbie that are with Amber, or is it?
Yes, Debbie, Amber, and I are all in the little mezzanine area.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, the mezzanine overlooks the kitchen and the living room. So Johnny then hurls a Red Bull can and it hits Debbie in the back. She didn't even react. She didn't really seem to notice. But I'm standing up there talking, or I'm standing up there, I'm at the top of the stairs with my back to the stairs. And that's when Johnny runs up the stairs. And again, I'm facing Amber. He comes up behind me, strikes me in the back, kind of just somewhere over here. He strikes me in the back. I hear Amber shout, "Don't hit my fucking sister." She smacks him, lands one.
Okay.
And then he grabs, at that point, that's when Travis runs up the stairs after
Right.
Amber landed one. But by that time, Johnny had already grabbed Amber by the hair with one hand
Only
and
she's
was
gonna hit her
whacking her
sister.
repeatedly in the face with the other as I was standing there. Travis pulls them apart. I get Amber into mine. I close the doors behind me and lock them. I then hear Johnny's voice shouting.
Never mind, withdraw.
Okay, sorry.
I hear Johnny's voice shouting, I fucking hate you. I hate you both. You fucking cunts. You fucking whores. And I hear crashing. I hear crashing and banging and smashing, and he starts screaming like an animal. And I then just moved Amber into the next room, and I just kept her there all night. The next day, I
Oh my
go,
God.
and I see her closet has been completely destroyed. Racks were overturned. Yeah, one of the
Yep.
clothing racks had been like tossed down the stairs. There was art off the wall. And down in the kitchen, there was broken glass. The place was destroyed.
Michelle, can you bring up Defendant's Exhibit 400?
Uh-huh.
Whitney, do you recognize this text exchange here?
I do.
Okay, and it's on March 23, 2015 at 6:57, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, could you describe, just
Objection, Your Honor.
identify it, please?
Yep, sorry, on hearsay grounds.
All right, you want to approach? We'll just take a look.
Bro, like, I don't know how, like, destroyed evidence nice. It's just, like, sticks to the script. It's just crazy how, like, let me think about it. It's knowing exactly how Amber told it during video deposition, same type of exaggerated gestures. Well, yeah, she probably watched Amber's story and she's telling the same story that Amber did. I think that makes sense, right? It's like, I mean, this is her sister. It makes sense that this is going to happen. I'm curious to see if we're going to have any evidence for this, if there's going to be anybody who's, actually saying, yeah, this is true or not. But we'll find out. That's what I'm ready to see. It's like, let's see some evidence, because all this stuff, like the guy's testimony, everything like that. It's like, yeah, some of it's like more or less believable, right? Because the guy is like removed from the situation now, so like it's more believable. Whereas like it's like her sister. So like that's what I think is weird. Everyone is against Johnny in his trial, lived free in his house, and had no problem with his behavior until he started kicking him out of there. Well, I think that it's actually a little bit more simple than that. I think that most of the people that lived in his house probably had no problem with it and still don't. These are just people that are Amber's friends. Like that's literally it. Yeah, they're just Amber's friends. That's all there is to it. The burden of proof falls on the plaintiff. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I think that if you can't allege something, you can never prove a negative. You can't prove like something didn't happen. But I think if you make an accusation and you say like, hey, this never happened, and there's no evidence for it happening, and in fact there's evidence of the contrary, I think that's pretty substantial. You know what I mean? You offer contradicting evidence. Well, you do have contradicting evidence, right? You absolutely do. Yeah, you 100% have contradicting evidence. Yeah, she's satisfied with it. Well, yeah, she's glad that she's got somebody else there. Okay, here we go. Okay.
So this is, can we publish, Your Honor?
Yes, it's in evidence, yes.
Thank you.
Let's see it.
So, Whitney, this is dated March 23rd, 2015, 6:57. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay,
Let's see it.
and that's to Kevin. Who's Kevin?
Kevin Murphy, he was Johnny's estate manager.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, Michelle, if you can scroll up. So let's stop at the first one. Can you please describe to the jury what this is?
That is one of Amber's clothing racks on the stairs that lead up to the bedroom area.
Uh-huh.
And you took this picture?
I did.
Okay. Michelle, can you scroll up again? And please describe for the jury what's depicted in this photo.
These are more of Amber's racks. These were her shoes and purses and such. Those were all like taken off the walls. And you can see here all of her clothes are on the floor.
Yeah, we saw these pictures before.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we've already seen these. They're like the clothes racks that are knocked over, etc. We know what this
To
is.
the next one, could you please describe what the next picture depicts?
More of the same. Clothing racks that have been kind of toppled over or moved. They were like neat. It looked like it was a closet room. But these ones were just toppled over or moved. This is the room that adjoined my room. So.
Okay,
Okay.
let's go to the next one. And could you describe for the jury, please, what this is?
That's another clothing rack that has been taken down and taken apart, kind of.
All right. So yeah, there's just a bunch of shit that's knocked
We'll go to
over.
the next one.
That's fine.
And please describe for the jury what's depicted here.
More clothing racks that have been taken down, moved.
Okay, so we've seen that. So they swap frames and they don't have audio for this frame on OBS,
Depicted
so we
here.
can't hear what they're saying. Okay, good.
Same thing.
There we go.
Just
Yep.
More clothing racks that were toppled over.
Shit is fucked up.
All right. And if we go to the next one.
Yeah, and what's this?
And this is
That looks
the
totally
kitchen
fine.
area.
Oh,
This
there's
is
shit on the floor. I see now.
Taken from the mezzanine level that I was describing earlier, but that looks like broken glass
Okay.
or something, blue ceramic, broken.
Alrighty.
Okay, and if we go up, and the top one there looks like part of what was earlier. Let's go to the bottom one. I think we have a bigger picture there. Does that help?
Yeah, it gives you
Yes.
an
What's
idea what's
depicted
going on.
there?
I still can't
More
tell what
Fiji
it was,
water.
maybe a plate of some sort, but there's also a rolled cigarette, a couple bottles of water. But yeah, whatever that blue thing is, it was broken. That's what's all over the kitchen there and also next to the stove.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
After the staircase incident, what, if anything, did Mr. Depp ask you to sign?
There was an NDA on my kitchen table.
Can you tell the jury what an NDA is?
It's a non-disclosure agreement. It's basically, my understanding is it's a contract to keep things private, to
Basically, yes.
keep your mouth shut, essentially.
All right. And you were given one or asked to sign one?
I was asked to sign one.
Okay.
I don't believe I signed it. I left sometime after.
So you moved out after that?
It was after this point that
Okay, so there's
Johnny
no-
had accused
we don't
me
know.
of selling stories to the media, which were absolutely untrue, but I moved out after that point.
Okay. Now, did there come a time that Amber asked you to move back in?
Okay.
Yes, February 2016, she texted me asking me to come back.
Okay. And so you were living with her from sometime in February 2016 forward?
I think on and off. I think I had my own apartment by then, but I spent a lot more time at the Eastern after that.
Okay.
She should know. I don't
I'm going to
remember
take
if
you
I
to
signed
April
one, she said.
21,
Yeah.
2016, Amber's 30th birthday party. Were you present for that?
I was.
Can you please describe to the jury what you observed that night?
It was her 30th birthday, so we wanted to make it excuse me, really special. We had made this beautiful dinner.
Fuck that! I hated my 30th birthday.
And it was great. All
was
of
the
her
worst
close
day
friends
ever.
were there, and everyone was having a
Fuck.
really good time. Everyone was having fun. Johnny showed up very, very late.
You 30?
And he was drunk when
No.
he showed up.
I'm 31.
Amber was obviously upset about it, but there came a time in the party where we all went around the table and said our favorite thing about
Some
Amber.
bullshit,
just
man.
funny memories or whatever. When it came to Johnny's turn, he told this story about how they first met when they met for the Rum Diary. So, he had this story about how she came in to his office and she sat on the couch and her perfect ass left a perfect imprint on the couch, and he wouldn't let anyone sit there after she left that day. And it was one of those stories that everyone was kind of embarrassed. We had all gone around the table saying really nice things about her, and gets to him and he's talking about her ass. We were all kind of embarrassed.
And when did you leave the party that night?
I left pretty shortly after that.
Okay.
And I went home.
What, if any, conversation did you have with Mr. Depp
Okay.
about his plans to attend Coachella the next day?
He was planning on coming to Coachella with us. At some point we were talking about what was happening the next day, and so that night he told us he was going to come to Coachella with us the next day.
Okay. And did he ultimately come to Coachella with you the next day?
Where's the evidence? Oh,
I'm going to jump forward to talk about
maybe this happened.
some statements that were made, the counterclaim. What, if any, observations did you make about how the statements, we're talking about the three statements that we're quoting Adam Waldman, impacted Amber? And I'm asking for your observations. Just tell the jury what your observations were of how these statements impacted Amber.
Objection, Your Honor. Compound, lack of foundation, speculation.
Okay.
Overruled, that's fine.
Thank you.
Amber has worked so hard to overcome everything that she went through in the duration of their relationship.
Absolutely.
She has really, really tried her best to move past it.
Yes.
And anybody
Of
that
course.
knows Amber at all knows that some of the most important things to her are honesty, integrity. Her
we
reputation
know.
is all she has. She doesn't have piles of money and private islands or.
Objection, Your Honor. It's non-responsive.
I'll sustain the objection.
Please
she
continue with what
she
she
was
said.
devastated.
That's
by
exactly
these.
what she said. That's exactly what Amber said.
To say that they're not true.
Integrity matters.
It devastated her. And also, we had just
Over
buried
30
our mother.
times.
So Amber, she started having panic attacks randomly. She was not sleeping.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
These are your observations. Thank you. Please continue.
These statements devastated her. They devastated her because they weren't true, and
I bet.
they were just very, very, very much affecting her.
And you talked about panic attacks. What else did you observe that she would do as a result of these? Physical.
She would just periodically just break into tears. She
Okay.
I don't know how else to describe it. She was so unwell. She stopped sleeping again. She was super anxious. She couldn't relax. She couldn't sit still. It was very similar to the Amber that I had seen back in 2016 as she was trying to get out of this relationship. It launched her back into this space where she was just so physically unwell, and she cried a lot.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Okay. Here we go. All righty, boys. Let's do it. Let's see it. I'm
Good
ready.
afternoon, Ms. Enriquez. We haven't met before. My name's Rebecca Lecaros. I'm one of the lawyers representing Mr. Depp in this case. You grew up in Texas with your sister and your parents, right?
Correct.
And you were really close with Ms. Heard growing up?
We were.
And you're still close now, right?
We are.
And you love her.
Of course.
Aw.
And your childhood, though, had some difficult moments, right?
It wasn't perfect.
Your father hit you and your sister at times, right?
Yes.
And your sister would protect you from that abuse when she could, wouldn't she?
We would protect each other, for sure.
And when you graduated from high school, you moved out to Los Angeles, right?
I did.
Big mistake.
And your sister gave you a place to live in LA?
Yes.
And she helped support you?
In part, I also was working myself, and yeah,
And you're grateful to her for being there when you needed her, right?
of course.
Of course.
And just like she protected and cared for
thanks.
you, you want to protect and care for her, right?
And when I can, of course, but yeah.
You testified to having a great relationship with Mr. Depp when you first started dating your sister, right?
Correct.
All right.
And you thought of him as a brother?
Yes.
Well, that makes I see now.
Called you sis?
Yes.
And you had affectionate nicknames for him too, didn't you?
A number of them, yes.
Yeah. And you testified that for a time you lived in the ECB penthouses with Mr.
Great timing. Why the fuck is this happening? This is obviously fuck. I'm just gonna go ahead and move over to this one.
Yeah.
A number of them, yes.
And you testified that for a time you lived in the ECB penthouses with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard.
That's correct.
And Mr. Depp owned those penthouses?
He did.
You didn't pay rent while you were living there, right?
No.
You didn't pay for any of the bills for the penthouses?
No.
How about that?
Very generous.
This is a
And
great
Rocky
guy.
Pennington lived in one of those penthouses also, right?
She did.
And at some point, her boyfriend Josh Drew moved in, right?
Yes.
And Isaac Bruch lived in one of those penthouses too.
Yes.
Okay.
And you know that he testified here that you call him your spirit animal, right?
I did not know that, but he's wonderful.
Oh,
You call him your spirit animal?
At one point I did, yes.
That's the bald guy with the beard.
You took trips with your sister and Mr. Depp also, right?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
You didn't pay for those either, right?
Nope. I did not.
During the course of Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's relationship, you were frequently involved in their arguments, weren't you?
Yes.
In fact, you had a nickname, right?
Marriage counselor.
Yes. You often found yourself mediating disputes between Mr. Depp and Ms.
Shit.
Heard, right?
Clearly not very well, but yes.
And when you were in that role of marriage counselor, you empathized with Mr. Depp, right?
Yeah.
Yes, on occasion.
It's a good way to say
Because
it.
you had a pretty good understanding of what he was going through.
Depended on the situation. Sometimes I could totally see from his perspective. Other times I saw it from her perspective.
Well, you'd been there with Ms. Heard before, right?
We're sisters. Of course we've argued.
And you knew what it was like to want to run away for days and do your own thing and not have Ms. Heard there fighting with you, right?
I think that's kind of taken out of context a little bit. I think more metaphorically. But yes, I have been in arguments with my sister.
And you have wanted to run away for days, right?
Sure.
And not have her there fighting with you.
Sure.
That would make sense. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Of course.
You talked a little bit about the incident in March 2013, right?
Which one?
That was the one before you went to the Keith Richards
Yes.
documentary set? And you were present with Mr. Depp at Orange that day?
I was.
Didn't you do cocaine with Mr. Depp that afternoon?
Yes.
And you said
Hey.
Mr. Depp's already intoxicated?
He was by the time I got there.
And he was fighting with your sister?
He wasn't doing much of anything. He was sat at the table. He was telling me about the fight that they had.
So
he
he'd
was
been,
kind of
he'd been
ignoring.
fighting with your sister that day when you arrived.
That was my understanding.
Okay.
And you said she had a puffy face.
Yes.
And despite all of that, you decided it was a good idea to do cocaine with Mr. Depp at that
I
juncture?
hadn't yet connected the dots. I hadn't yet understood what that meant or what that would do.
That was a yes? Yes, you took cocaine with Mr. Depp?
I
after all
did.
that?
Yes, I already
I
said that.
see. That's a good question, isn't it? Yeah. I guess it wasn't that bad.
You testified that you had suspicions that Mr. Depp was allegedly hitting your sister by some point in 2013, right?
Suspicions.
And notwithstanding that, in June 2013, you were actually joking with Mr. Depp about hitting your sister, right?
Regrettably over a text message, yes.
That you were encouraging him to hit her,
I was not literally encouraging him to hit her.
but you were joking about it.
Regrettably, yes. Again, I did not have an understanding fully of what that was. I never would have said that now, knowing what I know.
Okay. Okay.
But that was alleged. That was around the time that you allegedly became aware that he was.
I don't
there were
know.
injuries on your sister that caused you to have suspicions.
I don't know if it was around the same time.
Turning to the staircase
joke.
incident in March 2015,
Yeah.
you testified that Mr. Depp allegedly hit you during that incident, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Medical
But
record.
you aren't sure if that contact was even meant for you, right?
I honestly don't. I don't know what he was aiming for. My back was to him.
And you weren't injured during that incident, right?
No, I wasn't.
And you didn't seek medical attention?
No,
And you said Debbie Lloyd was there during all of that, correct?
she was.
And Mr. Depp's security, Travis McGivern, was there too?
Yes, he was.
And you saw your sister hit Mr. Depp on the stairs that day, right?
After he struck me, yes.
Okay.
You said she landed one, right?
That's what she said.
And then the next day, you found some damage in the adjoining penthouse.
Correct.
And we saw some pictures of what you saw that day, right?
Yes.
Right.
You thought it was important to document that damage, right?
Not to document. It was Kevin's job to kind of clean up the houses, take care of the houses. I took pictures just so he could be aware of what he would need to bring.
Okay.
I didn't know if he had tools here or whatever. I was just preparing him for what he was going to have to fix.
That seems.
But you didn't take any pictures of your sister that day, right?
No, I didn't.
That makes it a little bit
Now,
more plausible.
after March 2015, you continued to have a close relationship with Mr. Depp, right?
Yes.
And you still loved him,
That's
course.
nice.
and you were there for him if he needed you, right?
Of course.
And in fact, just a couple of weeks after that staircase incident, you were still acting as the marriage counselor, weren't you?
At some point, sure.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, sure.
And that fall, after the staircase incident, October 2015, you claim you had seen Mr. Depp hitting your sister. And then in October 2015, you were actually still trying to reconcile him and your sister when they were fighting, right?
Yes, I was asked to support. I was just trying to help what I thought they both wanted. I
That's
was just
nice.
trying my best to support them the way that I thought I could.
You still loved Mr. Depp at that point, right?
I did.
That's nice.
And you
Okay.
didn't think that he and your sister were past the point of no return, right?
What I thought was irrelevant at that point. I really, those two were in love and they were working very hard. They wanted to be together, it seemed like, so I just helped as best as I could. I don't know how else to describe it.
Okay.
Your sister still wanted to be with Mr. Depp, right?
And she loved him.
Makes sense. Yeah, sure.
And you didn't think they were past the point of no return?
I don't know what you mean by that exactly.
Okay. Let's take a look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 1283. It's not yet in evidence, so we'll just show that to the witness. I've got this.
Okay, let's see it. Let's see it. There we go. Let's go.
Redacted and unredacted.
Okay.
Let's get it. Let's see it. Let's go with it. All right. What this is? Like, I don't know. Like, this is. Here's the thing, right? Is like, I'm gonna be real. I don't trust the sister, based off of those text messages. I don't. I don't trust the sister. Like, I'm not sure, right? And so, like, if we have evidence that corroborates what she's saying, then yeah, maybe I do. But you know, at this point, I feel like it's not really there's not really a lot to believe. Oh, is Camille doing the questioning? Well, they take turns, right? I mean, this is how they practice and they get better at what they're doing. What if Johnny's drawing furry porn? Oh, he is. Yeah, he has been. Testimony is by far more believable than Amber's, though. Yeah, it's like I think so too. And it's really hard to say. Sister's never sober. How can you trust her? I mean, how can I trust her even though she's never sober? I mean, fucking Johnny Depp is never sober either. Amber Heard, it seems like it seems like everybody in this situation was on drugs. Do you see kind of like what I'm saying is like, yeah, there's different degrees of like not trusting or trusting somebody, but I think like in general, everybody was on drugs. Do you see kind of like what I'm saying? She's rarely not high. She's rarely high, not sober. Yeah, I know that. I see that. Let me see what you guys said. Sister's just adding what really happened to make Amber look more like a victim, even though she knows it's her sister that was cause of the issues. I feel like, in general, what it seems like it is, Johnny Depp, as I said, who does he look up to? Keith Richards and Hunter S. Thompson. He's a fucking... That's what he does. He's a degenerate. That's what he does. It's just... It is what it is. Yeah, that's what he does.
Ms. Enriquez, if I could just direct your attention, we can go to the third page, please.
Yeah, if you're on...
Do I have control of this or no?
No, you do not. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
we'll put it up for you. And we can go back to the,
But it doesn't mean
the
he's
first
an
page if
abuser.
you'd like, or we
Two
can take a look
different
at the
things.
unredacted version
I think
if we
they're
need to. But
conflating
do you
them, and I
recognize
think that's
these as
unfair.
text messages that you sent to Mr. Depp on October 2nd, 2015?
Okay, let's see it.
Yeah, vaguely. I mean, they're clearly my text messages, but yeah, I recognize them, I think.
Okay. And if we can go to
Uh-huh.
the third page, please, Tom. And you'll see the second blue box
Where
from
they
the
at?
bottom there.
Where'd they
You
at?
texted Mr. Depp and you said, I love both of you so much and would fucking stay out of it if I thought this shit were past the point of no return. But that's not where you guys are right now. Did I read that right?
Okay.
Oh, but that's not where you guys are at. Yes.
We see
So
that.
you didn't think they were past the point of no return in October 2015, right?
All right.
At that point, clearly, I didn't.
You can take that down.
Oh,
Got it. All right. That makes sense. Sure. Yeah, she thought it was going to be okay. Her and Johnny were hanging
You
out.
wanted Ms. Heard to stay with Mr. Depp, even after you allegedly saw him hit her, right?
that's really oversimplifying something that's far from simple.
I think that makes sense
again,
for her to say that.
Amber
They grew up in
was
an abusive household.
very much in love.
It was
So was
normalized
Johnny.
for them.
She's telling me that she wants something.
Yeah.
Whether or not I agreed to it or not, whether or not I was okay with
Yeah, it's-
what was
it's
happening,
normal.
it wasn't my place. If my sister
Yep.
said that she still wanted to
Yep.
be with Johnny, and if I could help with that in any way, I was going to support her. I was going to be there for her to support that.
Yeah,
Well,
you
it's
didn't
not
want
that
to
simple.
contradict your sister, right?
Pardon?
You didn't want to contradict your sister.
I don't know if I'd characterize it that way. I was trying to support my sister the best that I could or knew how,
Okay.
or I thought she wanted.
And you say you wanted to protect her, though, right?
At that point,
She's being truthful.
I don't know if I would categorize it as that. I was
I
just
think
trying
she
to
is.
support my
I
sister.
think she is so far. I super. Well, at least with that.
You went to
statement.
Coachella with your sister for her
That's
30th
what
birthday
sucks.
in 2016, right?
Yes.
And you testified that you were aware, I believe, that she and Mr. Depp had fought the night before?
You could turn your microphone on, Ms. Bretterhoff.
Never mind, I withdraw that objection.
Okay, withdrawn. All right. You can answer the question, yeah.
Yes, I was aware that they had argued the night before.
You didn't see any bruises on Ms. Heard at Coachella that year, though, right?
Yeah, she was wearing a lot of makeup.
You didn't see any marks on her?
Not that I can recall.
Didn't notice any swelling, right?
To the best of my recollection, I don't.
And your sister didn't have a working phone on her that day, did she?
No, she didn't.
But you did?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
And you wanted Mr. Depp to know that Ms. Heard's phone wasn't working, right?
I believe I reached out to him for her, yeah.
We'll let him know. All right, that's nice.
And you were encouraging him to reach out to her through you if he was trying to reach her, right?
I believe so at one point, yes.
You didn't want him to think that he was ignoring her.
I'm sorry?
You didn't want him to think that he was ignoring her, right?
Whoa.
Sure.
That's
And you
gonna
wanted them
unleash
to
the
reconcile,
beast.
didn't you?
Amber really wanted him there. Despite the fact that they had had a fight the night before, it was very complicated. It was very nuanced.
Yeah.
You know, they fought, they got back together. They fought, they loved each other. They hated each other, they loved
Yep.
each other. I just remember her wanting Johnny to come to Coachella at some point.
Sure.
I wasn't trying to reconcile them. I was just trying to help facilitate.
And you did that even though you were concerned about marks that you say you'd seen on her since at least 2013 and during the course of their relationship, right?
Again, that's really oversimplifying something. We all saw this. We all thought that we would see Johnny on the other end of this. Because again, when he was sober, things were wonderful. When he wasn't sober, they were terrible, sure, but we all thought that he was just going to get better. We all
Yeah.
wanted to just see the other side of that. So yes, sure, if you look at it simply, but it's not simple at all. I don't know how else to answer it.
And this was after you allegedly saw him hit her, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
And you knew that they had just had another fight, right?
yes,
You know who Jennifer Howell is, right, Ms. Enriquez?
I do.
She's the founder of the Art of Elysium nonprofit.
She is.
Okay.
And you worked there for a time, didn't you?
I did.
Around May 2015, you actually moved in with Ms. Howell.
How
right?
about that?
May 2015?
15?
Yes.
Oh.
And you moved out of the penthouses because at that point you and your sister were fighting, right?
It was around the time that, he had accused me of leaking stories. And that
Uh-oh.
was the impetus of me leaving.
And you testified earlier, I think,
This
that
is
he
the
had asked you
text
to sign an
messages.
NDA, right?
At
Here we
some
go.
point.
And that was around the same time that he was concerned you were leaking stories about their wedding to the media.
I believe so.
You and Ms. Howell were close?
We were.
Close enough that you lived with her for around a year?
I don't recall if it was that long.
And you confided in Ms. Howell, right?
About some things, yes. She was my friend.
You called her your chosen sister?
That was the text messages. Yep. Chosen sister.
Ms. Enriquez, you claim to have seen signs of injuries on your sister during the course of her relationship with Mr. Depp, right?
Yes.
But you never witnessed any incidents that resulted in visible injuries to your sister, right?
Other than the staircase incident? I witnessed that incident. What are you asking me exactly?
You never witnessed any incidents that resulted in signs of injury that you were concerned about over the course of their relationship?
Other than the staircase incident, I did witness that.
No, at no other time when you...
No, that was the only time that I saw him.
Okay.
And you didn't see what caused any of the injuries you claim to have seen during the course of their relationship, right? Other than the staircase incident.
Yeah, staircase incident is the only one that I saw.
But you have seen your sister land a blow on Mr. Depp, right?
That was the time.
She popped
Yes,
them
after
off.
he
Yep.
hit me.
Okay.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, redirect.
I have no redirect.
All right, is this witness subject to recall?
No, she may be excused.
Is subject to recall? No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Ma'am, you are free to go, or you can stay in the courtroom. It's up to you, okay? Thank you. All right.
Please
Our
take
next
a break.
witness, Your Honor, is another deposition designation.
Okay.
It's going to be,
How long is it?
this particular one is about 45 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, why don't we go ahead and, it's early, but why don't we go ahead and take our afternoon recess, though?
Okay.
That way we can get everything
Thank God. That's good.
ready.
I actually want to talk about this.
For you. So we'll just take our 15-minute break now, and then we'll come back and have that
That's good.
deposition,
I'm
okay?
glad. Yeah, there we go.
We'll see you in 15 minutes. Don't do
All
any
right,
outside
here we go.
research. Don't talk to anybody.
Let me show you guys how this works, what this is, and what we need to talk about, right? So here's the truth, is that I think that the sister might have omitted or not mentioned certain things that could have made Johnny Depp look better or her sister look worse. And why do I think that? Why do I think that the sister is a a biased witness to the why do I think that she's obviously a biased witness, right? But why do I think that she is a biased witness to the point where she would basically claim false evidence? Here's something here. So this is Jennifer Howell, and this is something we looked at before. I didn't think it would have any relevance. Obviously, now it does. Jennifer Howell opened her home to Amber Heard's sister after she told her that she was scared of her and tried to protect her. In return, Whitney tried to silence her and then called her a liar to the press. So there's already a statement that she's made, and I'll go ahead and I'll get ready and show that too. Give me 1 second. And I'll pull this one up, put this one in there. There we go. And so this is more of her statements here, but let's go ahead and read this text message first, okay? Her sister is a victim too. Yeah, isn't there photo evidence or video evidence of of Amber Heard beating her sister? I never watched this. We're not going to watch it, but is there video evidence of this? I'm like 99% sure. Yes. Okay, so that is technically true. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. There it is. So let's go ahead and let's read what it says. So, this is, let's see here. This is Whitney. Love and miss you. Sorry for the delay. In the UK at the present, time difference is a bitch. What's new with you? So anyway, she messages her, and this is the gray is Whitney. The gray is Amber Heard's sister. Okay, just keep this in mind. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. And can you guys read this? Is it too small? I'm going to go ahead and just make it a little bit bigger that way. I think that should be easier. And so then she says this on July 26th. Okay, I don't know what year this is, but I'm assuming it's semi-recent. It's better. Zoom a bit. I guess I'll do that. It takes me like 3 seconds to do that. Okay. So she says this. She says, hey, chosen sister. I'm so sorry for the late text. As you know, I'm in the UK for court. Can you please call me when you have a chance when you wake up? I've gotten some calls from, and let's go to the next one. And we're going to open this one, and I'll just open up all of them, okay? Just to make it easier. Okay, and last one right here. Okay, so this is the next message that, and again, this is from Amber Heard's sister to the girl that gave her basically a place to stay. Right, so this is it. Yes, chosen one, exactly. Is this the Team Amber stream? Absolutely it is. Yeah, she did nothing wrong. Haven't you seen how cute she is? Didn't you see her cry? I mean, come on. Hey, chosen sister, I'm so sorry for this. Can you give me a call whenever you chance you wake up? I've gotten some calls from the Sun's legal team about you possibly getting involved with and giving evidence to Johnny Depp's team. I told the Sun that there was no way this could be true, but I wanted to talk to you. No matter what, I love you. So this is Amber Heard's sister, okay? So she was upset because she was concerned that this person, Jennifer, was it Jennifer? Jennifer Howell was going to give evidence to the authorities, basically, right? You are my chosen sister, and I love you with my entire heart. And this is Jennifer responding to Amber Heard's sister. I was served 2 subpoenas yesterday. I was questioned and just told them the truth as I know it. I would never lie in any court proceeding or anything else. My one and only concern in any of this is with you. I have a letter I have written to you, and I'm giving it to you tomorrow. I hope you know how much I love you, and protecting you is something I will always do now and always. I will do now and always. Okay. All right, so then this is what Amber Heard's sister responds to. Jen, this is Amber Heard's sister saying this. Jen, why wouldn't you talk to me first? Adam Waldman is a vindictive liar who is trying to bring down my family and willing to do anything to do so. He can and will use anything you say, good quotes or bad, to hurt us. And so let's see here. And Jen, there's no way you were served 2 subpoenas, just talked, and the rest of it is cut off. So it seems to me like she's obviously upset that any of the evidence, she's trying to persuade this person to not cooperate with the investigation. Now, in my opinion, I feel like usually whenever people don't want to cooperate with an investigation, it seems like they're probably lying. Talked about how Amber never said Johnny hit her during the staircase incident. She got security. She said security got in between them. I don't even know which one is which. I'd have to go back and look at it again. So it seems very obvious that that Amber Heard's sister, Whitney, is going to take. She's going to take Amber Heard's side when push comes to shove because that's her sister. I mean, the truth is, this makes sense. Sure, right? I mean, this is just what people are going to do. It is what it is. And of course, right? Yeah, of course this is going to happen. However, trying to dissuade somebody from cooperating and providing evidence, this indicates to me that she has the willingness to, what's the word for this? Like, not degrade, but she has the willingness to subvert. She has the willingness to subvert the law and to insert her own agenda instead, right? She is willing to obfuscate the whole thing. And so let's see. Let's read this letter here, and this is actually. This is her declaration. Let me go back and double check this. Has known Amber Heard for many years. Jennifer testified about Johnny risking his life at the hand of Amber Heard and about Amber abusing her sister. And so let's go ahead and look at this right here. And this, by the way, guys, was from 2 years ago, okay? So this is her talking about the subpoena. I was recently subpoenaed into a court case to tell the truth, and I did so. Verdict came down on Monday, and the actual truth was destroyed by an unjust system. I share this now because I want to have faith in truth, dignity, and love in my integrity of ultimately winning. My heart has been broken during this process, and I have lost faith in so many people who have claimed to be moral and good, yet lack the integrity to tell the truth when it might be an inconvenience for them. I wonder who she's talking about. The same people who have contacted old employees of the charity and told them not to speak to attorneys and to dodge subpoenas have questioned my integrity for actually telling the truth whenever I was called to do so, and much more. Heartbreaking to lose faith in people. I write this as I'm trying to not lose faith in humanity and justice and in the greater good. I feel like my experience is a microcosm of what's actually playing out in this election. Truth and goodness will have to win in the end. I guess she's talking about 2020 election, hashtag praying. Okay. Well, basically, this is her saying, this is clearly the court case, and the verdict was in Amber Heard's favor, so it's very clear that she views Amber Heard as the abuser and Johnny Depp as the victim. Like, I think we can both kind of assume this is true. Like, you guys see where I'm coming from? You guys picking up what I'm putting down here? You seeing what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, absolutely. Isn't that a crime, right? I don't know what is and is not. I'm not going to get through that, and I'm not going to talk about that a whole lot because I'm not 100% sure. So yes, obviously this is the case. Now let's go back over. We're going to look at the rest of the pages on here, and we're going to see what else she said. Because obviously this is not the only thing. This was her declaration. Let me go back over here, and is this like 1, 2, 3? It's page, okay, this is page 2. I'm going to scan through a lot of this. I'm not really going to read it word for word. And so you guys can just go ahead and just watch along. Let's see here. Whitney worked for her for, I found it 22 years ago. I learned that she testified in court about the violent incident in 2015 on the stairs with Johnny Depp's penthouse. She testified that Johnny supposedly hit Amber and Whitney on the stairs at Johnny's downtown penthouse. Then Whitney said she had to go live with her employer, where she said she slept on the floor. I am that employer. This is not what I was told to be true. First, Whitney came to live in the guest room of what's this here? Wait, where the fuck? The guest room of my apartment. Okay, all right, yeah. Now we're in order. Of my apartment in Wilshire Boulevard, not on the floor, but in my guest room. So she probably fucking put this out there because Whitney had to go out and act like she was living like a refugee. She's like, man, I let you sleep on a bed. Like, girl, I didn't make you sleep on a fucking floor. What do you mean? Second, when Whitney arrived, she was a mess. Whitney told me that she tried to stop her sister Amber from hitting and attacking Johnny on the stairs. Whitney said whenever she tried to intervene to stop Amber from going after Johnny, Amber nearly pushed Whitney down the stairs. She told me that she was worried Amber was going to kill Johnny. Really? That is very interesting. Where's the picture of the knife? I was going to try to pull up the picture of the knife. I can't find it anymore. Anyway, so yes, we've seen things like this before. And what's the rest of this? She told me that she endured that kind of abuse for her entire life, first from her father and then from Amber, who she said was extremely violent. She lived with me because she did not feel like she could go back to Eastern Columbia building. My father reminded this morning, I told them Whitney had moved in with me because she was terrified of her sister. So it actually had nothing to do really with fucking Johnny at all. While Whitney is living with me, she told me Johnny kept checking in to see how she was doing, and that he called her sis and she called him brother. So this is corroborated in the footage today as well. And so we've already seen that. We know that's true. At least it seems to be true. And Whitney said to me on multiple occasions, he did not seem to know why he was staying in the relationship, nor why he was putting up with Amber's abuse. Whitney shared with me the damage endured by both her and Amber as children and the injuries that she had suffered both physiologically and physically. Whitney was devastated during the time. And so this is all what they said. This was, and by the way, for people that don't know what this is Jennifer Howell's declaration, and I'm going to read what it says here, in about like Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Right, this is like literally what she said in the court case. I don't know why Obama's there. Yeah, I have no idea. Okay, so it shared with me and everyone else that Amber freaked out, attacked Whitney, and threw a wine glass full of red wine at her in the elevator. What the fuck? While Amber and Johnny were in Australia, Whitney was in the office sitting in the black and white chairs near to the kitchen and loudly proclaimed, "Oh my God, she's done it now. She's cut off his fucking finger." Remember that, boys? Remember that? Holy shit. Okay, so that's one. Where's number two? Okay, this one must be number 2, right? That's 7. Okay, this is 8. Let's see if I can go through this. I knew Paige Heard, Amber and Whitney's mother. Paige shared with me a while ago. I was visiting Whitney that Elon Musk had gifted a Tesla, or multiple Teslas. Not sure if it's one or more, but Amber found out that they were bugged. Okay. Paige told me that Amber said Elon was controlling, abusive, and that she was in a legal battle with him over the rights to embryos that they had created to... That's weird. Yeah, that's weird. Holy shit. So it's like, no, you think about it with, like, from Elon's perspective, right? It's like this hot girl who's down to have threesomes with her other hot friend. Of course he's going to give her a Tesla. I mean, of course. Like, I mean, duh. I mean, like, this is... this is fucking perfect. Like, it's like it just... You know, things just sometimes work out. And it's like, yeah, it just kind of worked out. Even Elon Musk, yeah, I mean, duh. Exactly. And he just didn't realize what it was. He wanted to destroy them. Amber wanted to keep them to have a baby. Paige told me that Johnny was either an angel or a saint compared to Elon, and she wished that Amber and Johnny would reconcile. Paige also told me the reason Johnny and Amber broke up was because Amber was violent and emotional and loved Johnny so much that she could not control it. Which, I mean, again, that kind of makes sense whenever she was being jealous and angry whenever Johnny wanted to spend time with his daughter. You see what I'm saying? This is a movie script? Yeah, it's nuts. And so, yeah. And she is just, I mean, yeah, just a wild animal. That's all there is to it. And I don't really think that it's unnatural or this is not unnecessary or weird that Amber Heard's sister would not necessarily consider physical violence as a red flag. They grew up, their dad was violent. The way she said it, it's not my place. That is I've heard so many fucking people explain how they approach domestic violence with people that they know as it's not my place. Have you guys ever had that happen? Yep, Sam, for you. Yeah, it's normal for her. Like, this has happened. And did she go on to stand? Yes, she did. And let's see back over here. Amber was violent, taken aback as the conversation occurred, and a divorce, and Hunter was only a few months old, and I was at Whitney's house. Whitney told me that Amber and Johnny were still in touch, and they were each other's true loves, or something to that exact sentiment. Whitney was still going through the emotions of having had a baby and all those ups and downs. I could not believe that Amber and Johnny's relationship was being discussed while Whitney was the one who needed to be the focal point and needed our support. So I think that makes a lot of sense right there, huh? Amber got in legal trouble regarding smuggling dogs in Australia. Character reference about her charity work, and I did so. We had given her a humanitarian award. Well, everybody makes mistakes sometimes. It's understandable. I knew nothing about her personal life behind a closed door until I became close with Whitney. I think that makes sense. Yeah, she had no, like, what else would she know other than she seemed to be nice? You know what I mean? I think that's completely fair. When Amber was in trouble with the Australian authorities, she asked me to write a letter. Okay, I saw that for sure. She volunteered for the charity. Yeah. Later on, when Amber and Johnny were divorcing, $7 million of the proceeds supposed to go to the charity, I learned that none of it would be directed to the Art of Elysium, which Amber had been closely associated with for years. And when she said Amber had been so eager to use her name in the press during the divorce, when funds would mean so much to a small organization like hers, would Amber not direct those? Amber's publicist told me, so she donated to those other charities, basically. I'll unmute it in just a second. Basically, she's saying Amber wanted to donate to the ACLU and to whatever the other one was, the fucking children's hospital, because that they were more well-known and she'd get more publicity for it. She did it as a PR move.